guys. Yay, YouTube. Hello. I love coming onto YouTube. Hope you guys are good. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. So glad to get to spend some time with you guys. Let me know if you can hear me as you're coming on. This is a different day than I usually do, but I couldn't get a nanny yesterday. Story of my life. Everything's good now. I'm so happy to get to spend some time with you. Let me know where you're watching from as you're coming on. Today I wanted to do a little talk about how to reduce overwhelm on Eat to Live. That's our topic for today. So I'm going to be talking about that a little bit, but this is also, as always, a free live coaching call. So if you have any questions, let me know in the live chat and I'd be happy to answer all of your questions. I wanted to talk today about how to reduce overwhelm on Eat to Live and also the Eat to Live family that's going to be opening. Hello, Con Marie. I'm so glad to see you from Australia. Yeah, Eat to Live family that's going to be opening on January 25th, which is very soon. What is that? Just a couple weeks or something. Connie and Justin. Hello, beautiful people. She says I'm in Salem, Oregon. Darlene, you were just there. She was just on my Facebook Live. I'm so glad to see you. We were just talking about her situation over on Facebook Live. And then my Psalm 40 listening from Southern California. So glad to see you. Hello, Southern California. We got a couple Southern Californians here. Awesome. Everyone's on the West Coast except for Con Marie's representing Australia. That's amazing. Aga, hello, my dear. You came back. She was on the Facebook Live too. And Aga's doing our challenge right now. I'm so glad to see you guys. I love when you join me on both platforms. It's so fun. We get to spend some time together. So if you guys have any questions, first of all, feel free to ask them in the chat and I will answer them. Anything you want to be coached on, the food, the weight loss, anything really. I'd be happy to coach on any subject today. But I wanted to talk today a little bit about overwhelm in general because this is something Vanessa from Linden, New Jersey. There we go, East Coast. Finally some East Coasters. Good to see you, Vanessa. Generally, we talk a lot about overwhelm in January because we've just come out of a very overwhelming period of time with all the holidays and COVID and this weirdness happening, and maybe we've gained a little bit of weight or overeaten a little bit to try and make ourselves feel better about some things, which I have definitely been guilty of in the past. And now it's January and it's overwhelming to try and come out of those habits. Right? And I remember doing a survey one time of my audience and asking, what is your biggest struggle? And saying, well, a lot of people were saying, because I was asking in January, they were like, it's so hard to get back on. It takes me a couple weeks. And this one person said, it usually takes me like 6 months to get back on track. And that is so, that makes, it's like, that was me, the one that would take so long to feel like I was finally on track. And then of course the holidays come right back around and you got to start over again, right? So how do you get over the overwhelm of anything that's happening to you? We're not just talking about the holidays, but just overwhelm in general. So we're going to talk about 2 main ways that we can do that. And as we're going, Sonia, hello from Victoria on day 3 of the challenge. I'm so glad they are doing the challenge. Everyone is on day 3 right now. That's amazing. 21-day challenge going on. So as this 21-day challenge is going on, when it's done on a Sunday, Monday is the day I open the Eat to Live family, okay? And you just did Con Marie just did your first plant-based Christmas. Amazing. You're the one who cooks and you're the only plant-based one. Kudos to you. That's amazing. Excellent effort. Keep that up. That's so cool. So I want to first mention quickly what is the Eat to Live family. Well, it's going to be a monthly group coaching program, just like what we're doing today, except there's going to be me and another person. Actually, I'll be coaching the person in person, right? So if you have any questions here, I will coach you today. But in the Eat to Live family, we'll actually be doing face-to-face coaching. And the group, the whole group that's in the family is going to be able to watch and learn from me coaching other people. Just as we did on our last Facebook call just a minute ago, I think so many people probably saw a lot of things that they do in themselves with the example that we had from this lovely Darlene who offered herself up for sacrifice on the call. But it was just such a fantastic example. So when we learn from other people's struggles as well, we know we're not alone. And that's what this Eat to Live family is going to be, a monthly group membership, super, super affordable, less than a gym membership in many cases. It's going to be live calls, couple live calls a month like this, where we can actually come on and you can actually interact with me. And by the way, this is the only place, the Eat to Live family is the only place that you can actually interact with me live in this way. I don't do private coaching at this time. I have two amazing private coaches, Nancy and Karen. And if you're interested in private coaching with them, they're available for free 30-minute mini sessions as well, to see if private coaching might be right for you. But if you feel like you want to kind of just take the next little step up towards learning how to be consistent and Eat to Live for life, Eat to Live family is for you. And certainly it's going to be a more affordable option as well to just kind of like get your feet wet and get started. But I know that so many people going into the Eat to Live family are going to get so much out of it just from watching others be coached and just from being in a community together of people who are going through the same thing and who have the same goals. I always hear and heard my private clients in the past talking about how, like as Con Marie was just saying, you're the one who cooks and you're the only plant-based one. It's hard to be the only one who's doing this in your immediate family, in your community, in your extended family even. It can be tough to make this transition. So I wanted to create a place where we can all be together, a community where we can all share our struggles and learn from each other's struggles and learn from each other's successes and get coached by certified life coaches, me, Nancy, Karen, have a private Facebook group where we can all talk together. It's at least going to start out on Facebook, and I might move it to a different platform later, but we'll at least start there. It'll be all private so we can just be together and talk about what we need to talk about in order to eat to live and love it for good. And that's what I want to teach you, just how to do this long term, how to get to your weight loss goals and maintain them forever, and how to remove drama from what we're doing. So that's opening up January 25th. And I just want to mention, as I said, it's going to be very affordable, but if you get in on this launch, you're not going to get the same price next time, right? So you want to get in on this launch, the first one, because this is going to be the best price it ever will be. And if you get in, you will be locked in at that pricing for the whole time that you remain in the membership, okay? So that being said, a couple of the things that I'm going to be including as well, the Eat to Live Academy, which is a $500 value, is going to just be included. So you'll be able to learn all my private coaching lessons and tools, and then we can apply them on the calls. So you get access to the Eat to Live Academy. You're also going to get access to my personal weight loss vlog, which is over 250 videos at this point of the last 3 months, how I'm actually losing weight. Like I'm down 7 pounds now in the last week and a half. I'm just back on track. That's it. No more drama. I think the last time we did a live, I was still struggling and I was mentioning that I, haven't lost any weight yet or whatever, but I'm there. 7 pounds down now, 40 to go. I had started at 150 and I originally wanted to be like 110. But now I'm like, why don't I just do my Dr. Furman Nutritarian weight? Because it's easy, which is going to be like 103, 105, hopefully. So we'll see if that's where my body wants to go. But when you remove all the drama from the food, that's when you really can allow your body to just go where it needs to go and do what it needs to do, just like Dr. Furman talks about in the book. So I want to take you to this place that I am at, which is just no drama. Like it's just, you just eat the food and you do what you do and it's no big deal. You don't beat yourself up and, you no longer have that story anymore of this big, hard, difficult thing that you do in your life, which is food, and you're a food addict or whatever. That's what I used to identify with as well. I want to take you to a place where that's no longer an identifier for you. Okay. So first of all, we'll get into this a little bit more as we go. Make sure you guys ask me any questions you have about what you're struggling with right now, what's tough for you, and I'd be happy to coach you. Just think of one thing that is kind of a struggle for you, and I'd be happy to coach you on anything. I'm also going to put a link to the Eat to Live family where you can sign up for the wait list here in the chat. And I'm going to pin this to the top too. And then also there's a link for this in the description of this video as well. So if you're watching the replay, you can sign up there. But it is the info.thewateringmouth.com/family waitlist. So sign up there. And as soon as I have more information for you, you will get it. And it opens January 25th. So mark your calendar. That's just a couple of weeks away, something like that. And I hope to see you in there. So Let's talk a little bit about overwhelm and how to reduce that, because this can be a very overwhelming time in our lives for lots of reasons. And I just want to give you a couple of easy, solid ways that you can reduce overwhelm in your life. So make sure you ask any questions as we go and I'll answer them. But the first way that we talk about reducing overwhelm is by simplifying the food part. Okay, so we're going to talk about simplifying the food and simplifying the mindset. And those are really, I think, the two hard-hitting ways that we can reduce overwhelm and create more consistency in our life as we go too. So first thing that we do is reducing overwhelm with the food. And I was mentioning on the other live that first of all, one way that we can do that is with something like a 21-day challenge. So for instance, we put on 21-day challenges every quarter. By the way, they're included in the Eat to Live family, so you'll never have to pay for those again if you're in the family. But a 21-day challenge, for instance, someone telling you exactly what to make, how to make it, when to make it, how to prep it, all that kind of stuff, following someone else's recipes, tried and true recipes, tested, strategies and things like that. So like right now we put on this 21-day challenge and then they inevitably at the end say, okay, how can I keep doing this? How can I keep going? Cheri, you thought of everything for me. People always say that. You thought of everything for us for 21 days. Now we're spoiled. How are we supposed to be able to do this when we don't have a plan sitting in front of us anymore? And so what I like to talk about reducing overwhelm is by going to the things that we did for you on the challenge, which is to plan for you. We planned out what we were going to eat. We told you when to grocery shop. We told you when to prep tiny little things, like when do you make the lentils? When do you make the mushrooms? How do you get the bananas ready? All that kind of stuff. So we're going to be teaching you that rhythm of how to do that in a 21-day challenge and really simplify it for you so that you can learn, oh, I know, I just grocery shop this day and then I do this and I make this and this is when I prep the lettuce and that kind of stuff, right? So learning something like that on a regular basis, doing challenges where you're getting better and better and learning more of these things, you get to a place where that kind of automatically reduces a little overwhelm just because you understand it a little bit more and you're not coming from that place of like, oh, how do I do this? I don't know what I'm doing, right? But the other thing I like to say is the tip that I was giving in the other video was, say on a Sunday, for instance, you sit down and you make a plan for what you're going to eat, just like we did for the 21-day challenges for you. You just make a plan. And what I like to say is give yourself only like a set amount of time, only 10 minutes, something like that, where you only allow yourself 10 minutes to plan. You don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed, right? You're not sitting there going through blogs, looking for recipes, going through Pinterest, like going through all your cookbooks, looking for recipes. No, you just like 10 minutes, that's it. And all you're doing is making a real simple plan, just like we have done on the challenges for you. It's going to be a smoothie for breakfast. It's going to be a salad for lunch. It's going to be maybe some of my leftover smoothie for dinner, or it's going to be like a little water saute. And maybe the next day it's going to be oatmeal. Then it's going to be a salad. And then it's going to be, say, a soup, right? And then the next day you do the same thing, but you do the smoothie one with the water saute, right? And you're planning in a way that's very simple, where you're like, okay, it's either oatmeal or smoothie for breakfast. It's always a salad for lunch. And then it's either a water saute or a soup for dinner. Therefore, you only have to make two things, which is a soup and a salad all week long. And the rest of it, you're just kind of prepping a salad, prepping a smoothie, and that's it. I like this because what it does, and this is why we do the challenges the way we do, is to show you this rhythm. It shows you that you can be totally happy and full and sustained on very simple meals that just change a little bit each day. But you remove the overwhelm because you're removing the choice about what you're going to eat. And that kind of is the point here. It's like you remove the choice. Like, what am I going to eat for dinner on Wednesday? And when Wednesday comes around and it's 4:30 and you're starved and you're feeling hangry because you haven't eaten in a while and you're still trying to detox, and and then you start to feel really overwhelmed. You're like, I don't know what to eat. I don't know what's in the house. I don't want to make anything. And then your brain goes, oh, let's do something easy so we can survive. Let's order a pizza or whatever, right? So then you're like, can't stop thinking about pizza. And then you end up ordering a pizza because it's easier because you didn't plan ahead. Okay. Now, if you had taken 10 minutes on Sunday night to just write down a few ideas of what you have in your house, and then just a few things you can go get at the store, or you just took, half an hour and made a soup real quick so that you always have something for those times, This planning ahead takes so little time, but it saves so much hassle down the road, right? It saves so much hassle down the road emotionally, because now you have just simplified everything you're doing, okay? So Darlene says, simple meals sound good as long as they're tasty. Absolutely. So what you want to do then is go to a site like Dr. Furman's site that has reviews of the recipes. And just go to the ones that have 5 stars, right? You are certainly going to find enough 5-star recipes. And our challenges are the same way. Like Nancy is an incredible recipe creator. She makes the best recipes. And you can even reach out in the high nutrient lifestyle group for recipes that are tried and true that people love. Very simple to do that. And all it takes is just a tiny bit of planning ahead of time. And all that is just a thought like, I'm going to set myself up for success this week, and I'm just going to plan for 10 minutes. I'm not going to let myself go on a rabbit hole. Just going to do 10 minutes and just decide ahead of time, right? So Con Marie says, finding a template sounds great. Exactly. Like all you do, I'm going to do this or this for breakfast. I'm going to do this for lunch, and then this or this for dinner. And that way you're only choosing between 1 or 2 things every day, or you just decide on Sunday, this is it, this is what I'm having. And then the only thing that's left for you to do is to eat those actual foods when that time comes up, right? And that's about thoughts, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So Con Marie asks, I feel better when I eat more carbs. How much can I eat? So Con Marie, first of all, you get to eat as much as you want. You're an adult, okay? Which is, I don't say it to be condescending. I say it because I want you to realize that this is a choice of yours, that you get to eat whatever you want at any time. But I know what you're asking actually is how much can I eat within Eat to Live guidelines, or so that I can lose weight. And I'll give you my advice for that based on having coached many private clients. Sort of depends on how much weight you have to lose and how much of a, sort of addictive personality you have at this point in time. But for me, what I would always say to start off with is, if you're really looking for weight loss and you want to have some carbs, stick to half a cup per day cooked. Okay, so that's cooked oatmeal or cooked oat groats or whatever it might be. So you can get some nice texture, you can get some nice, carbs in there, but you're not having way too many. And then what you can do is, when you're having carbs too, make sure you're not having too many of the other limited foods on the same day. So for instance, if you're going to have some oatmeal, don't also have some dates, some avocado, maybe some starch as well, extra nuts and seeds or whatever. Like, don't overload your day with extra limited foods that you don't really need. Okay. So I think that's the best advice to really give, is not necessarily about how much you eat, but about how much you're eating that in conjunction with other things. And are you having enough greens to fill you up so that you don't feel like you need more carbs? I think that's the big mistake that people make a lot, is that they don't eat enough greens during the day. And your definition of greens might be a few leaves of romaine chopped up and, maybe like a handful of arugula or something. That's not a big enough salad, right? You want to have that double plus 1 to 2 cups of some raw or cooked vegetables, things like that, to really make a massive salad. Then you add a little bit of nuts and seeds, half a cup of beans, maybe half a cup of some oat groats or something like that. But I'm telling you, you eat a salad like that and you don't really even need the oat groats anymore, because they're so big. That salad is so big, right? Add your dressing on it and you're good to go. But the thing is also, you want to ask yourself, and this is for anybody watching this, and when you say you feel better eating carbs, are you saying that you feel better emotionally or physically? Because it's hard to tell the difference in the very beginning. I know that for me, oftentimes I would have a salad and it would be big enough to get me through 3, 4, 5 hours, and yet I would still feel really cravey afterwards. And so I thought that meant I needed carbs, but what it actually meant was I needed to get over my addiction to carbs, right? I needed to get over the thought that I needed carbs at every meal, because vegetables are carbohydrates and protein. That's all they are. So you're getting lots of carbs in beans. You get lots of carbs too. But what we mean is, like, I don't want the carbs that come from beans. I don't want the carbs that are in vegetables. I want, comforting, emotionally satisfying, chewy, oatmeal type, rice, something like that. Those are the kind of carbs I want, right? So is it an emotional thing, or is it an actual physical thing that you need that? Because what I did in the beginning was I noticed it was emotional. So I gave up carbs for a long time. I gave up those types of oatmeal and grains and things like that, because they're technically not necessary on Eat to Live at all. The things that are necessary are the G bombs, but grains and starches are not necessary at all. So you could completely cut them out. And I was like, why don't I cut them out for a while to see if I can live without them? And it was a struggle, but I did finally get over sort of needing them. And now I have them, but I don't feel, the impulse to eat them all the time, right? So that was a very long answer to your question, but I mean, that's how I do things around here. So hopefully that answered your question. And you get hungry on half a cup. Okay, so if you are actually physically hungry, I would have to know more about your situation, weight, and things like that. What else are you eating along with those grains? Because I'm telling you, if you have a salad the way I described, you would not get hungry, and you would actually just be describing the emotional hunger, right? So we're talking, start off with 6 to 7 large leaves of romaine, 1 to 2 large handfuls of, say, arugula or something else that's cruciferous, could be kale, whatever, handfuls. Put that in your salad. Chop that all up. So now you got 5-6 cups of greens just to start. Then you add 1 to 2 cups of raw or cooked vegetables. And then you add some nuts and seeds. You add some of your dressing. Maybe you add an apple in or something. I love to put apples in salads. Maybe you put some hummus on it. You put your beans in, half a cup to a cup of beans. And you put some onions and some mushrooms in there. Now, that salad is it's this big. It takes you an hour to chew. Now, if your salad takes anything less than a half hour to 45 minutes to chew, it's not big enough. If you have a big enough salad like that, you definitely have enough food, and you would definitely not get hungry afterwards. It would be a matter of emotional hunger after that, okay? So as long as your meals are that size, so probably not eating enough greens and veggies. That's usually the issue, because what's happening is you're equating eating grains to being full and to satiation, and that's because you're getting more calories at once, when what we want to do on the Eat to Live journey is eat more fiber, more lower calorie foods, just masses of them, right? Like tons of them, so that we get those lower calories, but that we get full too. And I tell you, I eat a salad like that, I don't get full. I feel very comfortable, but it's because I'm compressing that salad down into like the size of a smoothie by the time I chew it all, right? So I never get that kind of uncomfortable feeling, but I definitely am full for hours. And then it comes down to understanding the difference between emotional hunger and true hunger, and that can take a little bit longer. So I'm not saying it's emotional hunger for you. I'm saying, yeah, probably at least just get a big enough salad. And if that salad doesn't feel big enough and you don't get through 4 hours without getting actually physically hungry, make your salad bigger, right? More greens, more veggies, that kind of a thing. Can't go wrong with more greens and more veggies. And yeah, so Darlene says, yes, carbs and sweets are emotionally a joy. Yeah, we have to face facts. Eat a big salad with mushrooms, onions, and tomatoes. Yeah, that's the thing. I love the way you said that. We got to face the facts, right? Maybe not super happy full, but nevertheless full. And you will start to like that type of full that you get, which is a comfortable full. You'll start to appreciate that after you've done this for long enough, where you don't need to have that your tummy is like kind of almost bursting full to feel satisfied. Your brain just shuts off and goes, okay, you've had enough. And the way that looks is actually the salad stops tasting good to you. And then your brain is like, nah, you don't need any more of that. And then you just don't want any more. But as you're hungry and as you need calories, the brain goes, keep eating, this tastes good, keep eating. And then there's a point where you just stop and you don't want any more. That's how you feel. That's how you know you're kind of healed at that point and you're sort of done with that emotional side of things. Okay, so let's see. Connie and Justin says, how much do you spend on food a month? Oh my God, so much. I've been spending $160 every 2 weeks for 2 of us, but that doesn't get us eating as much as I see everyone else eating. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and this is going to be shocking to you. When my husband is home, he travels a lot, but when he's home, we can spend $1,000 to $1,200 a month on groceries, easy. Typically around $900, $1,000 if it's just me. But I buy the same stuff for him too, usually, so it's not too much to get food for him too. But I spend a lot. Now, I buy a lot of like extra stuff. I buy a lot of like really fancy probiotics. I buy a lot of I do canned beans. I buy, convenience foods. I buy packaged lettuce, things like that. I pretty much only shop at Whole Foods because of the convenience factor. So there's definitely ways that I can decrease my food bill if I wanted to. I don't want to, but this is something I've worked on for a long, like I've never been the kind of person to spend money elsewhere really. Like I've kind of always believed that food was the place I should be putting my money, especially since I started doing Eat to Live. So, $160 a week for both of you times 4 weeks, you're going to be seeing what, like $600-700, something like that, $800. Some of you are going to look at that and go, oh my God, that's a crazy amount of money to spend. Okay, sure, maybe for some of us, but consider we used to spend $200-300 a month on Starbucks. We used to spend $200 a month, $300 a month going to restaurants or more. We used to spend on all these other things that we don't spend on anymore. And not just because of COVID, but because I choose not to eat those foods anymore. So I'm saving $500-600 a month on stuff I used to spend money on. And I also do really believe and embody this idea that I'd rather spend it now on groceries than later on medical bills. If you guys have been following me, you would know that I'm having some health issues after this last pregnancy and the way I ate after the pregnancy with too much sugar and stuff, PCOS. And I have some blood tests that came back not the way I wanted. Got some stuff I need to clean up. And at age 38, I'm already seeing things in my blood that are making me a little bit worried. So for me, it's worth every penny to get this stuff in order, to be done with it for good, so that when I'm 40 and 50 and 60, I don't now have to, pay for diabetes medications and hospitalizations and even just doctor's appointments, right? Like having to even pay for that. Like, as you get older, having to go to the doctors all the time, like co-pays can add up, and I don't want to see that for myself down the line. So for me, it's worth it, but it's quite a bit more expensive than having Taco Bell every day for sure. To me, it's worth it. Let's see. Yeah, Samantha, balancing caloric density, so important. In order to feel full, you've got to get more fiber, more volume, less calories. So Samantha says, also for the grains, heavy starches, try mixing them with raw or cooked vegetables, like half or even 3/4 of the starch bowl is now a veg with the grain starch mixed in. Yeah, for me, I don't do any grains because I don't need them. I don't want them. So I just do instead of doing a Buddha bowl, for instance, with grains on the bottom, I just do lettuce on the bottom, right? And you can see many examples of that on my Instagram as well, of meals that I have made like that, and that's typically what I'll do with a salad. I just simplify the heck out of it, where every day I take a big bowl. I have a 2-quart Corelle bowl that I use as my salad bowl. I'll fill it with about 7-8 cups of greens, like I mentioned before. And then I just take and I put some bunches of different things. So it'll either be, chopped red peppers, some onions over here, some beans here, some avocado here, some chopped carrots or shredded carrots or whatever. Or I'll take some water saute that I had made a few days before and, warm it up and put a little bit on the salad, or 2 cups on the salad, something like that. Then I put my dressing on and make sure I have my nuts and seeds, and make sure I put mushrooms and onions in, cooked mushrooms, raw onions in, and then I've got my salad. I mix it all up, and then I eat the salad, right? That is my version of a Buddha bowl nowadays. And I just skip the grains altogether. That type of a huge salad really creates some good satiety for me. Could even be cooked together. So the spices, yeah, I love to do that. And I love to put soups over raw greens like that. So yummy. That becomes my dressing basically. And I love to have that warming, especially here in the summer or in the winter here in the US. And Darlene says, when I would ask my aunt if she was hungry, she would say, what does hunger have to do with it? She was thin, but she could always eat. It's so true, right? Like that's just a different mindset. August says it would be cool to see some food haul videos. Yeah, I do have some of those from the past, but I should do more of those. And I can have Nancy do some of those too. Food hauls. Good idea, guys. I did one a while back, but I should definitely do what I'm doing lately. Because when I go, you guys, I buy so much stuff, but I could just go through my kitchen too and show you what I have currently. Maybe I'll just film one of those today or tomorrow so you can see what I have. and what I've been eating lately. And then Connie says $160 every 2 weeks for both, and we don't have more than that, and that's not going out. Yeah, we get staples and when we get profit share 3 times a year. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so very limited budget in that respect. I totally understand it. Nancy and I actually, we put it on hold, but we're working on a budget, what is it, like a meal plan or something like that too. There's lots of ways to reduce your expenditure when it comes to this kind of stuff. So the money that I'm talking about is with not caring about how much I spend, because I don't want to put the thought work into it. But if I actually did sit down and think about, going to certain stores when they're having sales and putting a lot of effort into that, you can really eat this way on a budget. Costco, for instance, you can get packs of 5 or 6 romaine heads for a fantastic price. You can get, these kind of membership stores like this. Costco, I think, is the best one for organic produce. You can get so many of your eat to live staples, and as long as you keep your shopping list the same, which you can easily do, and which I pretty much always do, always kind of get the same things, you can really, reduce the expenditure there. And Samantha says, try perhaps simplifying the ingredients to whatever's on sale. That's a very good tip. Getting what's in season helps too, or shopping local stores with discount racks and farmers markets too. I don't know where you live, Oregon, so maybe you guys don't have any farmers markets right now. We don't have snow or anything like that, so we still have farmers markets year round, but that's a great way, at least in the summer, to save tons of money by going to farmers markets and getting their produce too. And yeah, great idea to get the staples when you get that profit share. And finding places where you can get staples for a good price. So for instance, nuts and seeds, things like that, like nuts.com, I think they usually have pretty good prices. But going to these places like Costco, you can really, get some bulk items there and be judicious about how you use them. Using a lot of beans, right, to create bulk when you can get those for so cheap and just cook them yourselves, that kind of a thing. Yeah, buying bulk, right? And the share, you're right. Samantha mentioned get friends who will share a little if needed. Yeah, I remember Dr. Furman talking about back in the day when him and his wife first got married, they would go in on produce shares, and they would buy like tons and tons of produce and share it with friends that were eating that way too, and they could save a lot of money that way too. It's so basically what it boils down to is, I'm paying for the convenience of it, right? Of not having to really think much about it. But on a budget, it's just you change your thoughts about it, right? So, okay, I'm just going to focus more on the details and how I can save money in this way. And it can be done. It can be done. That's what I want to point out. And so we're going to go here to the other tip on overwhelm, which is the mindset. And so that's what you'll be dealing with here, Connie, is the mindset portion of it. Like, this is something I want to do. I'm willing to put the effort into it, and I'm going to succeed no matter how much money we have to put towards it, right? And I want to say something else. And this is, I don't know how you're going to take this, but I feel very strongly about this because I'm a pretty intense budgeter, not about food, not at all about food, but I do have a food budget, and everything else that we buy is budgeted in. And I have been doing that for quite a long time. I follow Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you know anything about him, but he's a fantastic personal finance person. He's one of my favorite people to follow because he's so just like no frills. Like, this is how you can, set up your life or whatever. No, but Dave, I don't agree with his food advice because he'll say eat, beans and rice for the rest of your life so that you can save money. Of course, you want to eat the beans, but not the rice so much. So we do have to put some of our expenditure towards the greens and everything like that. But another thing that he always says is there any way, and I'm not saying there is, I don't know if there is, but is there any way to get more money, right? Can you pick up a second job doing something an hour or two a week, something like that? Like, how important is that greens and beans and onions and mushrooms and, how important is that to you? Would you get a second job so that you could pay for something else? Is that not a possibility for you? I don't know a situation, but oftentimes we'll say, oh, I wouldn't want to do that. But when it really comes down to it and the medical things start to creep up for us down the line, we wished we would have done this earlier, right? And almost everyone will tell you, I wish I would have done Eat to Live earlier, right? I wish I would have started earlier because maybe this wouldn't be happening to me now or whatever. Like, I wish I had been 100% strict for the last however long since I found Eat to Live. And I wished I would have found out about it when I was in my 20s, right? Can you be creative? So I don't know what your situation is, but oftentimes what will happen is when we, and I'm not saying this is what's happening for you, but when we get down about how much we make or don't make or how much we can afford or not, it puts us in a place of being a little bit closed-minded about it, to where if we were like, I can figure this out, right? That's when we start to go, I wonder how I could save money doing this. Or I wonder, even if you can't get a second job or something like that, I wonder how I could get creative about pulling these foods in, right? The kind of things that are coming up with other people. So I ain't healthy enough to work. Hubby works in scraps. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Oh, you follow him too, Connie. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get through these comments right. You're right. I spend about $1,200 a month for my parents. I've been only eating these foods, but just can't eat big bowls like you guys do. You follow him too. Let's see. So what I'm trying to say is, oh, that's interesting, Aga. You could do a day of eating with the pricing and then do another one with the budget version with similar dishes and nutritional value. Yeah, replacing tofu with beans, etc. Yeah. So, maybe one of your days is more budget. And here's the thing too, is like going on a strict budget about this kind of stuff, where you're doing like, beans and rice or something like that, and you're just plant-based, it's going to be better than eating fast food, right? Or eating whatever else we used to eat. If we could get steak for really cheap, or we could get potatoes for really cheap, or whatever, eating all plant-based but still pretty decent nutritional value, like whole foods or whatever, is going to be better than doing fast food or whatever else we used to eat, right? Or making mashed potatoes with butter or gravy, or whatever that used to be. So at least, like Aga says, one day budget, one day pricier, whatever, at least that, doing half and half, something like that, is going to be better than if we were, just going back off to where we used to. Maybe the big, huge salads on a daily basis, like we're talking about, is out of reach for you every day, but maybe it's once a week, right? So at least you can have that once a week kind of a thing. And maybe you have oatmeal for breakfast, which is a perfectly acceptable solution and very cheap. Oatmeal, maybe you can get some flax seeds when you do your profit shares 3 times a year. And you can put some fruit in there, the cheap fruits, right? Like apples, oranges, bananas. Those are so cheap. We might not be having the most nutritionally dense things, but at least we're still having whole foods, plant-based. And that's a world, no sugar, no salt, no oil. That's worlds better than if we were doing standard American anything else, right? So I want to talk a little bit about the mindset part here, because now I'm gonna call you out, Connie, here, not about anything you're doing or not doing, because I actually don't know where your mindset is here, but I just want to use you an example of someone who might be using mindset against yourself a little bit. And so for instance, let's say there's somebody who says, I just can't afford to eat this way, right? Now, I'm not calling you out. I don't know a lot of the situation, but I can't afford to eat this way. And it creates a feeling of like exasperation, right? Like frustration, defeat. Now, what we talk about in the life coaching is that now we're talking about how to reduce overwhelm. Okay, so let's go shift to the mindset part here. So what we talk about in this life coaching that we do is that we say our thoughts create our feelings. So if our thoughts are, I just can't eat this, I can't afford it, there's no way, right? That's going to create a feeling of defeat. And then we say that our feelings create our actions. So when we have a feeling of defeat, how do we eat, right? Oftentimes, someone who's feeling defeated might end up overeating on things that they shouldn't be overeating on. Maybe they eat a bunch of oatmeal, overeat something, or out to a restaurant because they can't be bothered with it. They, um, or they end up using a lot of like butter and salt and oil because they just want to make themselves feel better, Um, this is something that I've done so many times in the past where I start to feel down about something and then I'll overeat, right? But can you see how that's like a total contradiction? Like, I can't afford to eat this way, so then you eat more, right? Or I'm terrible at losing weight. So then you eat more and you prove that you're terrible at losing weight, right? Like, it's not that you're bad at losing weight, it's that you're telling yourself you're bad at losing weight, which is causing you to overeat. And the overeating is making it look like you're bad at losing weight when really it's your thoughts about the losing weight that are causing you to overeat. So what I mean by that is we have negative thoughts which bum us out, and then it creates more of the thing we're trying to avoid, right? So we have negative thoughts about we don't make enough money, so then we end up because we are bummed about how we don't make enough money, right? When a different thought and a more useful thought could be, yeah, we don't make a lot of money, but I love being creative with this kind of stuff, and I'm going to figure it out no matter what. Can you see the difference between the feelings that come out of those two thoughts? One is defeat, and one is curiosity and excitement and interest, right? So let's see. What else do we have? Connie says, I'm eating this way, just not proportions. I have to eat this way to get the health back. Yep, I lost 20 pounds eating with smaller portions. Good. And let me go back and look at some of the other things, and we'll come back to this overwhelm thing too. I don't want to miss any of these things. Okay, so food halls. Let me actually make a note about that. The really good suggestions here about, okay, so in the summer your whole garden becomes a garden. That's perfect. Can you can some of those things? And things are not, for instance, but you're still going to be getting a bunch of veggies in it. It's free, right? Talking for I'm convenience, you would be using that time to actually create the instead of like could you, for instance, grow a bunch of kale, freeze a lot of it, and be able to use that for here. If it's frozen, it's still going to be nutritionally valuable. You could throw it into smoothies, things like that. Lots of those kinds of ideas. So Steph asks, I find it much easier to digest cooked greens versus raw greens, as cooked greens give us less nutrients. Actually, in all cases, you definitely do want to have some cooked greens as well. Cooked and still get a lot of really good stuff. But what we usually say is if we're having issues digesting, we want to start off with smaller quantities and work up as we go. We do that with beans as well, especially if someone's having trouble digesting beans or greens or anything like cruciferous, especially raw cruciferous things can be tough to digest in the beginning. So we want to start off smaller and eat more as we go. So Darlene says, you're right. I spend about $1,200 a month for my parents and myself, 90% organic supplements, probiotics. So the way that you say that, Connie, I've been only eating these foods, but just can't eat big bowls like you guys do. So that's an interesting way you said that, by the way. It sounds to me like you're outside of the group, right? You feel like you're outside of the group. I can't eat big bowls like you guys do. And you're talking financially and it totally makes sense. But even the way you say it sounds, it sounds worrisome. Like I wish I could, I just can't. And so I wonder, I would love to coach this with you live, like we're going to be doing in the family, but I'd love to dig more into this and find out more, what kind of a feeling you get out of this and how does that show up in your life, right? If you feel defeated about it, because that sounds defeated the way you put it a little bit, not healthy enough to work. It could, I have to eat this way to get health back, right? And this is a thing that we all do, right? Like we get to this place of like, I really need to do this, but I can't. It's bad that I can. I wish I could. Lack creates feelings of lack, which then causes, and so I'm not saying you're not eat healthy. What I'm saying is there could be a less curiosity and less creativity in the way that you're looking to eat. So instead of eating, so you just go, oh, I'll just have rice because it's cheap, right? Instead of going, I wonder how I could get more greens in. How could I do this? And then we have some more greens or whatever, however, like different ideas that could work. And so what I'm trying to say is not even necessarily about you, Connie, because I haven't gotten to talk to you, face to face about this, but this idea that we lack creativity when we're in a space of lack, right? When we feel like we don't have enough and when we're telling ourselves we don't have enough, we lack the creativity to create more. So that's something I want to talk to you over, because it's very similar. Stress, overwhelm, these kinds of thoughts, lack, there's not enough time, there's too much going on, right? Those feelings come from our thoughts. So our thoughts are actually creating those feelings. So when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel stressed, when we feel lack, it's because we're thinking something about the situation, that it's negative. It should be different. I should have more money, kind of a thing. Now, Connie, I work from home, right? So I have created an online business where I can sit and be online and make money, right? I'm assuming that you have to do that too because you're online with me right now on a YouTube video. So are there other ways that you could make money that don't have to do with getting a job and going somewhere, right? Are there other ways to create money online that you could do right now? So I'm not picking on you. I don't mean to, I'm just trying to make a point that maybe there's a lack of creativity in things like that because there's an amount of defeat, right? So that's why I want to talk about this overwhelm idea, because it sort of relates here. When we have overwhelm, when we're having, say, a new year, right? Like a new year, everyone's like, oh, I need to get back on track or whatever. COVID's happening, these things are happening. We're looking at these outside circumstances to create our reality. When outside money, or how much weight I gained from my pregnancy, or any of those sort of outside things that really don't have anything to do with COVID happening, right? Or not being able to see family members over the holidays, or like my mom still not having been able to meet my, have no control. Those things we often give and say that those are the things that are feeling. And we shouldn't give credit to those things at all, because what creates our feelings is our, okay? So for instance, overwhelm. Let's say we're in January and we're thinking, oh, I've gained weight over the holidays, things are much worse. I'm gonna have to go so much more weight now. Those thoughts create a feeling of defeat, like we were talking about. There's too much to do. I can never get this back, right? Like I have to do so much more work. But when we feel overwhelmed, as I was saying, our feelings create our actions. So when we feel overwhelmed, typically what we'll do is we'll just go off plan completely. We won't plan anything and we'll just do what's easy. And then we end up gaining more weight, right? So what we're doing is essentially proving the thought, oh yeah, it really was overwhelming. See, I just keep gaining weight. When really the weight gain came from our thoughts. It's because we thought, oh, this is so hard, which made us feel terrible, which is the thing that made us overeat. It wasn't COVID. It wasn't the stress of the money. It wasn't this or that. It was the fact that we let our emotions dictate what we do. And when we overeat because we're feeling defeated, that's actually just that huge vicious cycle, right? And it's our thoughts that's actually creating that, not the outside circumstances. So it's not because you gained weight over the holidays that you feel overwhelmed right now. It's because you're thinking about being overwhelmed that's creating the overwhelm. But what if we were in a space of, as I was talking about before, like curiosity, calm, peace? What if we took all the drama out of it and we said to ourselves differently, like, yeah, I gained some weight over the holidays, but I've done that before and lost it again, so I can do it again, right? Same circumstance, we still gained the same amount of weight, but one of them feels more hopeful and one of them feels more peaceful and allows us to act in a way that's more useful, right? Instead of constantly getting stuck overwhelm and then eating more. The other one, oh, I've lost weight before. It's fine. I can do it again. I've lost weight in January before. By February, I usually am to lose some weight or whatever. I can do it again. A space for us to be able to think clearly and to be just interested in figuring out the solution rather than being upset about the circumstance. If you could kind of see the difference there. Let me get through some of these. So Samantha says, maybe it would help to contact Cheri directly in order to send actual food logs, a personalized plan of seeing what you're doing and what your goals are to eliminate confusion. Yeah, I used to do that type of thing. I don't do that anymore, but certainly this is something that we do in private coaching, but I don't think private coaching is really in the budget, but Connie says, we're accounting for every penny to pay bills off for sure. It makes so much sense. I hope you guys can still hear me. You're saying my mic is breaking up and I wasn't paying attention because I got chatting. Hope you guys can still hear me. Sharon says Aldi's has great prices on nuts and beads. And yeah. Okay, so this is interesting, Connie. You say just switch from Furman to McDougall because doctors said your liver wasn't handling the potatoes and rice. As for working from home, I do need to figure out something, just don't know what or how. Okay, that just makes my whole point right there, in a very loving way, that when we're caught in a place of overwhelm and we're caught in a place of feeling defeated, we don't have creativity. We don't have that space to be able to look at our situation and find a get another job. You said my health isn't good enough to get another job. And then later I thought, oh, maybe she can work from home and find another way to make money. And then it was about how I can't do this. I wish we had that. I wish my health is, we don't have enough money for this, right? So can you see how you're in a space of feeling like the sky is falling on all accounts? There's no way to figure this out. No, really, Cheri, look, I really don't have the money to eat the way you guys do. It's just not possible for me, right? Can you see that type of thinking is leading you to a feeling of defeat? It's leading to a feeling of, I just, like you're stuck, right? Like you don't have any options. But when we're in a place of the ability to change our thoughts towards new outcomes, right? Like, look at these two thoughts. I don't have the ability to do this, or there must be a way. Okay. Can you see the difference between those two? It's massive, right? I don't have the ability to do this. I just do not. Or there must be a way. Both of them, you don't know what the answer is, right? But one of them creates defeat, a feeling of defeat, and one of them creates a feeling of curiosity. Let me think about that. Now, Connie, so I give you this idea. What if you worked from home, right? What if you created a business? Now, I'm not telling you you're going to make money tomorrow, right? If we go by me, it took me 8 years to make money doing what I do. But isn't it better to maybe make a few $100s extra a year, like I did in the beginning, a few $100s extra for like 8 years, than to be able to buy some more nuts and seeds and buy some more greens or whatever, than to just be in defeat, right? there's no way for me to get out of this. Now, I'm really not trying to pick on Connie. Connie, I'm sending you all my love and hugs and support and encouragement. And I'm coaching you in a way that I want to show you your mind. I want to show you what you're creating for yourself by being stuck in a place of defeat. Because I know that this is what we all do in a way. So while Connie's might be money oriented, I'm talking about overwhelm. Just with having gained weight over the holidays, it's the same exact pattern that we do where we get stuck in the thoughts that are not helpful, which create not helpful feelings, which create not helpful actions. Okay, so I gained so much weight over the holidays. I'm so terrible. I always do this. I can never stop. Creates more eating and creates just more of the same versus I gained so much weight over the holidays. Okay, I've done this before. I can totally do it again. It's fine. Creates awesome actions. You start to plan your food again. You start to eat well. And then you get to a place of slowly but surely chipping away the weight and getting to the place where you need to. So that's kind of the general idea of how this works. The mindset that you need in order to be curious and insightful and create ideas that you never would have thought of before is kind of how we coach. And this is how we put life coaching into the Eat to Live journey. This is how we get people to do these things long term. This is how I have gotten myself to go from being off and on and off and on over the years to the place of just calm, peace. This is it. I just do what I do. It is what it is. And this is the choice I'm going to make because this is the one thing in my life that I can control. And I'm going to just keep controlling it and just keep doing what I got to do to keep making it happen. So how to reduce overwhelm on your Eat to Live journey? We do it with the food by simplicity, going to this idea of simplicity, which is changing your thoughts, right? And overwhelm, how to reduce overwhelm in your mindset as well, which is by looking at the thoughts you have now and seeing how they might not be serving you and looking at how we could possibly shift those a little bit so that we can get into more of a positive space and get more curious, get more creative, and create the reality that we're looking for. Because I assume, Connie, that you really want to eat this way, and you really do, and you've said you really want to have better health and have better health outcomes. There are solutions for you to create more of what you need, just like there is for everyone. If we can just look at our thoughts and see what it's creating or not creating, like going for us, if we can do that, then we can get to a place of, as I said, some creativity, start to create some new outcomes. And if you like this type of, I think, it's kind of more like drilling down. If you like this kind of drilling down into your own thoughts and your own actions and what you're doing in your life and the results you're creating and why you're creating those results, how could you create a different reality? If you like this kind of stuff, we talked about on this call, the Eat to Live family is for you. Opening it on January 25th. It's a monthly coaching program. As I said, it's going to be just like this, only it's not just going to be me. Nancy and Karen will be in there as well. We're going to be doing monthly coaching calls at least twice a month. We're going to have a whole community aspect too, where you guys are going to be all together, able to meet each other, help each other out, encourage each other. My mic is cutting again. Okay. Well, I'm just going to finish this then because I can't change the mic while I'm on this. There's a link section of this video. There's also a link in the description. The wait list. I hope to see you in there. It's super affordable and I hope to see you up at info list. And we'll be letting you know first when it's open, January 25th, so you can get in there. It'll be super affordable, the most affordable thing I've ever put out. And I also want to invite you guys, when you join, you're going to be part of helping me turn it into the best community for you ever. So whatever you need I'm going to be creating things specifically for you based on your feedback. So join me in this founding members launch. You'll be a founding member. As I said, you get bi-monthly coaching calls at least, where you can come on live with me and talk through these things. You will also get access to the Eat to Live Academy, which is all of my coaching tools in one digital course. You will get access to my weight loss vlog as well, which I've told you exactly how I got to where I am right now, losing weight and back on the Eat to Live wagon after all of the, pregnancies and things I've gone through, ups and downs with weight loss and those kinds of things. And just the community, just being all together. Oh, and the 21-day challenges, those are going to be included as well. So you never have to pay for a 21-day challenge ever again. Totally included. So let me know what you guys think when you get in there. If you have any comments or thoughts about this, let me know. I really want to see you in the family. It's going to be super affordable, and it's going to be the best way to get coaching right now, unless you want to get in on the private coaching with Nancy or Karen, because they are amazing. And you can get free 30-minute mini sessions with them. You can go to my website, thewateringmom.com, and sign up for a free 30-minute mini session with them. The link for the family in here too. So there's the link again. There's also a link in the description where you can sign up for the family wait list, opening that on January 25th. Only going to be open for a little bit, and then we close that down so that I can concentrate on the new members. I'm also going to put the web address for coaching, where you guys can get a free 30-minute mini session with Karen or Nancy. Vegetarian coaching. The web address if you want to sign up with Karen or Nancy for their coaching, if you're ready to just take this to the next level and you want to invest and get your struggles figured out on the Eat to Live journey. They would love to talk to you as well and see if you're a good candidate for private coaching. Otherwise, please join the family waitlist and join the family when we open it up, because I'm so excited to get to coach again and to be with you guys on a bi-monthly basis like this, and to really get you where you're looking to go with your weight loss, with your healthy eating journeys. It's just going to be fabulous, and we're finally going to get to be all together again. So thanks so much for dealing with my audio. So sorry it was bad for a little bit there, and hopefully you can hear me now. And I hope to see you in the Eat to Live family really soon. Thanks for spending time with me, you guys, and for asking amazing questions. Connie, I love you. That this was helpful a little bit, and I hope it was helpful for anyone else watching. See you in one last thing. Darlene says, you're right, feeling overwhelmed and defeated makes you feel sad and depressed. You eat the bad things to get a sugar carb rush to try to feel better. It's all just a vicious circle. And what we're going to be learning in the Eat to Live family is how to get out of that circle, like how to step out and be done with it, right? So that we can eat to live and love it forever, okay? My voice is tired and dry. I need to eat things. I need a salad. I've got a salad waiting for me. And Patrice, please watch the recording. We've got some really good stuff on this call. Love you guys. Have a great day. And I'll see you soon on some more live videos as I talk more about the family right before we open it up on January 25th. Okay, so see you on the wait list, and then I'll see you in the Eat to Live family. Bye, guys. You have a lovely day too. You're so welcome. Bye-bye.